Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Thursday, January 12th, 2023, and not typically severe tornado season, but here we are just a few days before Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, which is January 15th. Of course, the holiday will be celebrated on the following Monday, the 16th. But just before MLK Day, and one of the things MLK is remembered for is the Selma to Montgomery marches. We're going to talk about if it's a coincidence that this terrible tornado strikes Selma and other parts of the region on this day in light of the Selma marches, which we'll go back and look at. And notice also in other headlines, Julia Roberts has discovered she's not actually a Roberts. If you read this story that's being published everywhere, it reminds that on November 1st, it came up that Martin Luther King Jr. had paid the medical bills for Julia Roberts' mother. And that's because her mother had an acting school and MLK's family was connected. But anyhow, tornado strikes Selma right before the MLK holiday and at an early time in the year, January. Typically tornado season starts to get a lot worse in the spring. So, again, if you're new here, this might sound like madness, but it's not. You need to look into history. Weather warfare was admitted to on August 15th, 1952. The first ever act of weather warfare was on the Jesuit order's birthday. And of course, the Jesuits were created to stop the 95 Theses, which reminds that Martin Luther wrote the 95 Theses, and Martin Luther King Jr. assumed the name Martin Luther after the Protestant Reformation leader, only to be assassinated on the 95th day in 1968. Of course, you just had the German Pope died age 95 on the last day of the year, calendar year named after a pope in the time of the first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis. But anyhow, the Jesuits, they are a military order, and yes, the first act of weather warfare, August 15th, 1952, at least the one that was admitted to a long time ago now. We're going to have the 71-year anniversary later this year. But yes, that is the day the Jesuits were first created in Paris, France, back in 1534. And again, ritualistic weather synced up with sports, news, what they just did in California a couple days ago, which I talked about, and now this in Selma right before the MLK holiday. And notice that the marches, the Selma to Montgomery marches, 87 kilometers in length. The Jesuits are into Kabbalah, and in Kabbalah there's something called Gematria, and Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. And when you learn this code, you start to see through these rituals. 87 kilometers was the march that started in Selma. And notice, tornado equates to 87. Again, this code is simple. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26th letter is 26. So you add up the letters of tornado, it's 87. The code also involves running the alphabetic order in reverse. And when you do that, the name Martin, which was not the birth name of MLK, he was born Michael, but Martin is also 87. And so was the word slavery. And Selma is a town that, according to the current census, is 84% black. So predominantly Black Americans there. And again, just the legacy of slavery, the ongoing struggles of people of darker complexions. And if you had to ask me, I'd say this is another sick, nasty ritual on darker complected people in a darker complected town. So anyhow, 87-kilometer march, and now right before MLK, the tornado in the early part of the year. Notice Selma's also on the 87th Meridian West. 87th Meridian West. And the 87-kilometer march was 54 miles. Been talking about 54 all day today. Lisa Marie Presley's 54 years old. Her dad, Elvis, was said to be an admirer of MLK. I think Elvis has a song called "I Can Dream" in tribute to MLK's "I Have a Dream" speech. But Lisa Marie Presley cardiac arrest at age 54, the new trend, women now having heart attacks in the age of the JAB. But of course, this comes right after the Golden Globes. Golden Globes equals 54 in Gematria. And of course, the guy who won Best Actor just portrayed her father. And then also in the headlines, the death of the USC Heisman winner, Charles White, who died 54 days after the current Heisman winner's birthday, who also went to USC. We just talked about that. So again, it was also 54 miles. And in light of the Jesuits, in Gematria, Jesuit order equals 54, as does the word sun. Their logo's the sun, kind of like how Elvis recorded for Sun Studios. But all these things in the news at once. Okay, so that's the point I'm making. 54 miles is 87 kilometers. And today's date numerology is 56. 56. In Gematria, natural disaster equals 56. So does Society of Jesus, which is the formal title of the Jesuits. Also, if you write out the word 3, it equals 56. Same with the word light. Same with the word Abrahamic. There's 3 Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam. God makes light in the 3rd verse of Genesis, which is the first book of the Torah, which the Abrahamic religions are based in. So 3, light, Abrahamic. They all equal 56. Again, 3rd verse of the book that the Abrahamic religions are based in. God makes light. 3 Abrahamic religions. 3, very special spiritual number. 56, a special number. 3, Society of Jesus, natural disaster. They all happen to have Gematria 56. So does the current governor of Alabama, who happens to be the 54th governor. Her name also equals 56. That's K. Ellen Ivy. So Society of Jesus 56, Jesuit Order 54. They're the same thing, 2 titles for the same thing. And these numbers come together a lot, 56 and 54. R.I.P. to Omar of the Wire, who died in a big 54-56 ritual. It's a disproportionate amount of these rituals that target black people. Of course, Omar was black, if you're familiar with his character from The Wire, set in Baltimore, another predominantly black city that's terrorized by the cabal. But anyhow, again, we're 3 days before MLK's birthday. And notice the Selma to Montgomery marches ended on March 25th, which is the 84th day of the year. I just want people to see how this code works. But 84 is a special number for a lot of reasons. Jesuit is 84 when you just use the alphabetic order, where Jesuit order is 54 and you use numerology. If you put a the in front of it, the Jesuit order is 84, just like the Catholic Church is 84, just like you might notice it was also 87. United States of America is 84. Special number. Anthony Fauci, Jesuit scumbag, head of the NIH since 84, before he just retired after 38 years of serving on the 38th Meridian West. Or excuse me, the 38th parallel north, my bad. DC's on the 77th Meridian West, 38th parallel north. But 38 is the number of death. That's why Pentagon equals 38, and so does pandemic. But anyhow, the Selma March ended on a date with 112 numerology. 112, right? Again, the Jesuits claim to operate in 112 countries. Catholicism, 112. Mathematics, 112. 1 plus 1 is 2. Think about what day this happens. This happens on the date January 12th. 112. I meant to write 54 miles or not 55. That's a typo. So again, also interesting in light of this happening to Selva in the time of this governor right here, Kay Ivey, who again is the 54th governor, like 54 miles of marches. Her name 56. And with regards to natural disaster, again, it does equal 56. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, it's 223. Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards numerology. Before this year started, I said that I expect the theme of this year to be weather warfare and things blamed on natural disasters that are not natural. And notice how natural disaster is 223, a lot like the year 2023. There is military technology known as HARP, which was patented on August 11th, 1987, which has the ability to induce storms, can even quake the ground. Again, this is the ultimate military technology because you can destroy your enemy without them even knowing it was you. And again, for people to understand, the United States of America is not a sovereign nation. Never has been. It's a Illuminati Jesuit Masonic construct that's always represented entities overseas. But anyhow, HARP was patented on August 11th, 87, which is the 223rd day of the year. And again, natural disasters 223. And HARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, which equals 223. So this is why I said sometime back, expect 2023 to be full of natural disasters that are not. And for the record, that was a date with a life lesson number of 44 that it was patented. The acronym HARP's 44, like military, like earthquake. And its name also has overlap with earthquake and satanic gematria, which is a whole nother subject. But just to remind what California experienced 2 days ago on January 10th, of course, all of this is biblical. The Jesuits are biblical. Notice how Jesuit orders 153, like Holy Bible's 153. 153 fish in the miraculous catch. Jesus the fisherman. Here we are in the age of Pisces. Most Jesus people don't even know why there's a fish on their bumper sticker. But the biblical prophecy of the flood. Notice how the word prophecy has gematria of 52 and 110. Notice both those numbers, 52, 110. On 110, California has this biblical flooding. And remember, flood is 52. So are words like hurricane. But again, the first act of weather warfare, August 15th, 1952, was the Lynmouth flood. There was something called RAF rainmakers used by the Royal Air Force. And the experiment went beyond what was expected and ended up killing 30-some people in the town of Lynmouth. But notice, if you write out Enlil, and if you write out earth, and you write out flood, notice the overlap with these words. Again, gematria comes from Kabbalah, which goes back to Babylon. The Babylonian god of storms and weather and flooding was Enlil. Just notice the overlap. Flood, earth, Enlil. They all equal 52 with the alphabetic order, 25 with numerology, 83 with the reverse alphabetic order. And what's Genesis 8:3, by the way? And the waters receded from the earth, talking about, the biblical flood and the prophecy. At the end of 150 days, the water had abated. So that's where the story of the flood ends, Genesis 8:3. And just for the record, another word that's a lot like that is devil. Devil. Perfect overlap with earth and Enlil in all four ciphers. The only one that differs is flood in reverse with numerology. But again, just the same code over and over. Just like when Houston won the World Series, Matt Harvey was the first pitcher to pitch in Houston exactly 52 days for the World Series. And Houston flooded on August 27th, 17, a date with 52 numerology. Plus, it was the 239th day of the year, the 52nd prime. And let me see if I got this right. Is it the Book of the Law? Is that the other nickname for the Torah? Book of the Law. Yeah, also 239, the 52nd prime, going with their little ritual there. And that was on the anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan dying, whose best-selling album was Texas Flood. Died in the helicopter crash on that day in history. And about a gazillion other examples we've talked about over the years with crazy acts of weather. Don't forget the big earthquake on July 4th in Southern California, where the epicenter was on a military base, energy, weapon, nuclear. They're all 74. But Yeah, it's just I don't know what to do about the weather warfare thing because most people can't even accept things that are 10 times more simple to understand. And even though there's the historical record of weather warfare, um, people just can't wrap their mind around it. They can't accept that there's such evil in the world who would do these kind of things. And I don't know why it's so hard to accept. It's like, have you paid attention to the people who rule over us? The nonstop fear, propaganda, paranoia, militarism, lies. It's just, I don't know why it's so hard to grasp. Seems pretty obvious to me. So, and again, for the other people who don't get it, it's just like, somebody made the film years ago, All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. It's the same thing with weather warfare. Anytime there's a war, money's made. Because of this disaster, what'll happen? The government will ask for a loan from a central bank. Well, who runs those central banks? We don't. The people that run the central banks that our governments borrow from, that they're wealthy fat cats. So our government will borrow from a for-profit bank that's not represented by American interests. That bank will give the loan with major interest that we, the taxpayers, will pay for. Thus, money is made out of the destruction. That's why all wars are bankers' wars. And again, who are the original bankers? Oh, the Templars. Who was the military order of the Catholic Church before the Jesuits? Oh, the Templars. What's in the middle of the Jesuit order's logo? Oh, the Templar cross. CNN's reporting said Priscilla Lewis was sitting next to Blanche Park on Thursday. Can't get more Catholic day of the week. Well, I suppose Sunday's even more Catholic, but Thursday's arguably the most Catholic day of the week. Named after Jupiter, like the Jew Peter, who's the first pope. But on a Thursday, when a tornado tore through Selma, Alabama, and a Facebook post she shared, we went straight through the middle of the tornado that came through, she told CNN. It's nearly impossible to leave out downtown Selma. And you know what? Just in light of tormenting black communities with the weather warfare and the acts of Mother Nature, let me pull up this gem from the recent past. I wish Chuck D would call in. Public Enemy put out the album "What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down" on September 25th, which was the anniversary of JFK giving a speech about weather control. And thanks to this album, we were able to predict which day the power would go out for a lot of the country through weather warfare, which ended up being Valentine's Day of 2021. Let's see, I got several posts on this, but I just want you to see the familiar patterns because the power's out in Selma. Okay, so Chuck D, born August 1st, 1960. The album "What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down" came out September 25th. Again, that's the anniversary of JFK's weather control speech. Look it up. It's from 1961. But notice it came out 56 days after his birthday. Again, Society of Jesus 56, Power Outage 56, and in that same cipher, the alphabetic order of numerology, Natural Disasters 56. All the exact same. So they just happened to put out that album on that oh so significant day to weather control. And we've seen a lot of this in recent times. The power's out because of the unprecedented weather. And of course, I mean, there is naturally bad storms and can knock down power lines. It's just, you can see that it's now being manipulated. Crazy storms at abnormal times of the year. And why do they want this? Oh, yeah. Here's their other big 56 agenda. Climate change. Where the climate accords keep getting done at. The home of the Jesuits, Paris, France, which is 56. But yes, climate change, Paris, France, both 56. They just attacked the liberal Mecca that's all about the Green New Deal with the unprecedented rainfall in California. Now, after that example, hey, let's go do another one. Let's terrorize a black community right before Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let's do Selma. So, But yeah, you just think about darker complexion too, and the other twisted joke on this, doing this on the date that's 25/9, also with the Black Lives Matter, which is another Jesuit operation, just like the Black Panther Party was. That's why all the Black Panther meetings initially were in the Bay Area, about the most Catholic place outside of DC. If you don't know this, all the original Black Panther meetings were in Catholic churches. So look it up. And yeah, part of the reason we were able to predict the Valentine's Day blackouts were because Arizona's the Valentine's Day state. This is the cover of the Public Enemy album. That's Arizona, Monument Valley, Arizona. But again, it's the Valentine's Day. And then you had the Valentine's Day blackouts 142 days after this album came out, like how Valentine's Day can be written 14/2. And maybe there's something I need to research with that number in weather warfare now that I think about it, because the day that HARP was patented, August 11th, is the day leaving 142 days left in the year. But yeah, off the top, I don't know what it is about that number other than those examples. Have you guys missed when we went to New York for September 11th? The day before, we were in Times Square on September 10th, trying to warm people up for September 11th, and you wouldn't believe who showed up on the corner. It was Flava Flav posing with the naked cowboy. And I walked up to Flava Flav, and he pretended like I wasn't there. He was talking to other people, but then he wouldn't answer my question. I said, "Hey, can you tell me what's up with that album? What you gonna do when the grid goes down?" Again, he was trying to pretend like I wasn't there, and then a guy with a big old Star of David chain comes in and swoops him up and gets him out of there. He did not want to talk about what you can do when the grid goes down. And by the way, go listen to what Flava Flav says on the He Got Game soundtrack on the remake of the Buffalo Springfield song. So I'm pretty sure the track on that album for the film is titled He Got Game. Okay. Yeah, but between the Selma thing and they got to bring the follow-up to the Julia Roberts story, you know. And you know what else is funny about, the Selma march being 54 miles? Today's 72 days after the news first broke that MLK paid for Julia Roberts' hospital birthing bills. So again, 54-mile march, or 87 kilometers. And today's 72 days after the news first broke about Julia Roberts on November 1st. And now she's back in the headlines today on the day of this. And, whoops. Again, Julia Roberts has discovered she's not actually a Roberts. We are learning even more about the heritage of Julia Roberts. Not long ago, the internet was all abuzz about the fact that the civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr. had paid the hospital bill for her birth. Now comes the news that there was a big secret in the Ticket to Paradise stars family. On Wednesday's episode of the PBS series Finding Your Roots, with Henry Louis Gates, Jr. Roberts is shown learning that she was not actually related to her supposed great-grandfather, Willis Roberts. Gates shared the news with the Oscar-winning actress that the elder Roberts had actually died more than a decade before her great-grandfather, John, was born to her great-grandmother. So anyway, I'm just saying, there's obviously ritualism to the time of all this being unveiled, just like how every day the news is so ritualistic. And again, you just follow the number code and you'll see what's really going on. By the way, just with regards to all the 56s we've talked about in this, the number of the Society of Jesus, MLK and Malcolm X only met one time in history. They met on March 26th, 64. That's Nancy Pelosi's birthday, for example. That date's 26/3, the way the majority of the world writes it. 26/3, like 263, which is the 56th prime number. And it was also a date with 93 numerology, the reflection of 39. Of course, MLK and Malcolm X were both killed at age 39. And neither of them had their birth names. They both had their assumed names. But Martin Luther King Jr. is 93. Malcolm X is 93. And there's a lot more to say about that. But also, MLK was killed on 4/4, and Malcolm X was killed on the date with 44 numerology, kills 44, so is shooting. You recently had the death of young Dolph in Memphis in a shooting on November 17th, the day leaving 44 days left in the air, a year after Obama, number 44, put out his book, A Promised Land. And again, young Dolph died in Memphis, like MLK, and he died 68 months after he put out his King of Memphis album. Again, like how MLK was killed in 68, the same year the Club of Rome was established. So, let me see if anybody else. I've done a few streams today, but I haven't taken any calls. If anybody has any additional thoughts about this, can please call in on topic. But if anybody else has any thoughts about weather warfare, this ritual before MLK Day, feel free to call in. Depending on how the calls go, depends on how long we'll take calls. 509-560-4982. 509-560-4982 is the number. 509-560-4982. And again, I was supposed to do a live stream with an older black gentleman today, but he canceled the live stream because somebody told him that I might take him away. I might take people in his audience away from Jesus Christ. And I just thought, how disappointing, man. I mean, your audience needs to know what I'm talking about. People need to have this information. And all this stuff about Jesus Christ, which is the name that the Roman Catholic Church gave you, which rules over you and has been lying to you from day one and giving you language with words like believe with lie right in the middle. Again, Jesus isn't here today to help people of Selma see what's going on. You know what I mean? Or anything else for that matter. And as far as I know, Jesus hasn't been here in my lifetime or anyone else's lifetime. It's just this little story that we're all taught to believe in as children, or else, kind of like get your COVID vaccine or else. Also brought to you by the Society of Jesus. Yeah, the guy that was going to have me on, I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's been sharing my videos on his channel, but then somebody told him that I'm like the Antichrist. So he went with that message and decided not to do the interview. But, he's caught up in the politics and he's thinking the Republican Party's the savior. And again, I mean, that's why people are just too hard-headed. They're too stubborn. They'd rather have their nonsensical beliefs than the actual truth. So, all right, here, I'll type out the number in the chat to see if that helps people call in. All right, just posted. All right, Kansas is calling in. Kansas. Kansas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're on.
I didn't think. I figured wasn't nobody called, so I'd give her a try. Yes, sir.
Okay. What's on your mind?
I figured wasn't nobody coming on, so I'll give her a try. I find it very interesting, not just the numbers.
I think you're listening to the video in the background. You got to mute the video and just talk through the phone.
Okay, my bad. I think you're listening to the video in the background. You got to mute the video and just talk through the phone.
You got it, Kansas?
There you go. Is that better?
There you go. Yeah. All right, you got the floor.
All right. Well, I'm new to this as far as numbers and whatnot. I've been watching for a little bit. Definitely interesting. I appreciate what you do. I'm doing my best to get it out there. I've tried to contact you on your Mighty Works app, and last night I listened, and there was some talk about maybe not you being on there, so I stopped kind of, trying to reach out to you on there. Just, I know you're busy, no big deal. But it is very interesting, not only the fact that you call it, been talking about all this for 10 years, can see that, go through all your stuff. It's, you'd have to be a fool not to be able to follow you and see this. But neither here nor there, not to beat anyone up. I'm trying to do better on that myself. But the weather modification is very interesting, and it seems to get more intense. Obviously, we'll always have more questions than answers, I believe. But I've been going around just trying to get, I've been for 10 years talking about chemtrails, all that, went through all your crazies and all that. The patents are there. I talked to doctors, people that are supposed to be intelligent, all that. You feel like you get a little glimmer of hope. They go through life with their head down, keep pushing. You never hear from them again. So it's beyond frustrating. So I'm at a point now where I'm trying to not contract with these people, just be left alone, and get out of all this trickery and these lies. And everybody thinks that I lost my mind a long time ago, so it doesn't matter what people think. I'm doing this for myself, my loved ones, to help my kids not have to go through this. If there is a way out, but maybe there ain't in this world, who knows. But it's to a point, I guess, trying to find who has oaths to this. They all took oaths. Nobody wants to be held accountable. And it's these, I guess, Kansas Health Department environment, the game warden, the sheriff. I've been trying to just reasonably man to man, which I don't even consider most of these sissies men, but whatever, just trying to at least figure something out. Like, what are we supposed to do? We have all the knowledge, all this information, and the transparency that's supposedly needed to have accountability held. They have no problem throwing us in prison for nothing, torture, starving, all that. I don't even want to get into all that, but I know this is supposed to be on topic, and I appreciate your time, and I am definitely well aware. Matt Landman, I don't know, I haven't heard you say anything about him. I've been curious about the dude. Called him out on stuff before, whether he'd seen it or wanted to reply or not, doesn't matter. But then he kind of got into it, so I seen him kind of grow, so I fell back. Same with like Brian, I'll say, here's the deal, or Grease Monkey, whatever, couple little channels he's got. Why is he selling kids' masks on his website, People that seem all right, I'll rock with them, but I watch them for 6 months or a year, before you finally catch them in some bullshit. It's just, I really respect you, man. You don't find too many people like you. I haven't. I got bored looking for more, that had to have been more. There's just all the same old conspiracy regurgitated bullshit. And it gets old. It's like, well, what are we going to do about it? But here we are. This weather modification, whole other level and older, I guess. It goes in with the digital coming in, I believe. Who knows what all they're spraying? We know they lied, switch up the narrative and the story and whatnot, but they don't, they don't tell everything. Even though now it's, we do this, and we lied all this time about it, but now we do it only for this or this reason, and it only has this in it. They're not saying what all is in there with the aluminum and barium and all that. So where do you go for even answers? They got a weather modification station or something like that where they sell rain here in Kansas. And it's a ways away. I haven't made it there yet. I'm trying. It takes money, gas, all that time. I'm just finally getting where I can move around anyways out of the 9 to 5 grind where they try to keep you at. So I don't know if, I'll ever be able to get there. Lord willing, whoever willing, Creator willing, I will. But I just feel like is it a waste of time? Am I supposed to be doing something else? How can I help this community more, getting the word out, and how can we figure stuff out? I guess that was long and fast. Hopefully you caught that.
Sure. Well, again, you're trying to spread the word. I know it's hard because people are hard-headed, but ultimately, I mean, that's until we get more people to wake up what's going on. I mean, we're kind of stuck, and that's why I'm here pushing every single day. A minute ago when you were talking about people, I heard you say Brian, but I didn't catch the name before Brian who you were talking about.
Matt Landman.
Is that the?
He had that.
What's his channel? Hello?
Yes, sir.
What's his channel?
Well, just his name. I don't know about YouTube. Honestly, I don't think I've ever even looked into him on YouTube. But he had that Franken skies, lines or flies in the sky or something.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. It was on the Facebook more so, where I met him, and then I emailed him. He sent me the little flyers. This is a long time. I done went state to state with this stuff, putting up billboards everywhere, or not billboards, but little flyers and everything.
Okay.
But I don't know. He's exposed that. I've been rocking with him just on that alone. And I've watched him go on other stuff, and I may not see eye to eye with him on a lot of stuff, but he gets around on that weather modification stuff. University to university. Don't know so much these days, but that's where I started learning from him.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts. And just don't give up, man. We got to keep speaking out until people start to get it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I did have one question, and I know hopefully I contributed anything there. If not, I've just been waiting to talk to you, at least a real human being or whatever. But in the Hamlin little charade thing going on, he was in the room there, the medical room. The little scenery or whatever was a 3 on the one side and 3 on the other, but there was that digital clock above it, and the time was 12:34,
right.
1:34, and you or Rambo had brought it up before. It was months ago, but I just couldn't remember, and I looked it up, but I wanted to get your opinion. Is that what do you take on that?
I thought that was just a tribute to counting, doing things A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Appreciate it. Cool. Well,
yeah.
Keep pushing. I'm out here, and I'm gonna just go harder and harder.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Take care. All right. If you guys got here late, feel free to rewind the video and watch from the beginning. Just got to the part to see if we had any callers that could add on to it. But again, just the big thing is it's right before the MLK holiday. MLK had the Selma to Montgomery marches that were 87 kilometers. Selma's on the 87th meridian west. And when you know gematria, things get a little bit more interesting. So 607, what's up?
Yeah. The first thing that popped out to me reading about this Selma tornado was that in The Simpsons, there's 2 sisters that are related to Marge. They're her sisters. And one of them's name is Selma. And there was just 2 sisters, Diamond and Silk. One of them just died. But 52 is the name of the sister in The Simpsons. Her name is Selma Bouvier. And it's 52 in the most pure cipher. And we know 52 is a big weather warfare number.
Okay, that's interesting.
And we know how The Simpsons predict stuff and stuff like that. But I was connecting it with this, because there's sisters in The Simpsons. One of them's name is Selma, and we just had Diamond and Silk.
Right.
One of the sisters just died.
And the greater connection with that, if there is a connection there, is again the Diamond and Silk. Diamond just died 666 days before the upcoming election. 666, which is the 36th triangular number. The initials MLK are 36. The first MLK holiday was officially observed in 86 nationwide 36 years ago. This year on Monday, it'll become 37 years, but right now it's 36 years and change. And of course, if you write out number of the beast, it also equals 87. So, like Martin.
And in regards to the 36 triangular number, or 666 is a 36 triangular, but Diamond was born on the day leaving 36 days
right
left in the year.
Right, November 25th, right? Yeah.
But, yeah, just Selma, The Simpsons, and then this hurricane or tornado in Selma. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind is the sister from The Simpsons. Like, they're twin smokers, and it just, and then like the connection with the twins, Selma or Diamond and Silk, one of them just died. So it has to be connected somehow. But yeah, that's all I got, Zach.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks.
Peace.
MLK's actual birthday this Sunday is going to have 39 date numerology like his age of death. It'll also have 59 date numerology. If you're new here, words like slave, Negro, blues, Rasta, they all equal 59. Motown and 59. Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. 419.
Hey, Zach, it's Decoding with Cody. I just wanted to touch on something with the 87s and really the 78, because I realized something interesting today with, you remember the Shinzo Abe assassination?
Yeah.
On 7/8?
Yeah.
Well, that was on the 189th day of the year, and tomorrow is 189 days since that. And it's basically, what I'm seeing is that there's this, because obviously JFK or MLK was assassinated, and we're getting close to that day of where they celebrate the day. And this weird Japanese thing's going on right now with tomorrow Biden is meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan, and their names actually have a 4-cipher match. Joseph R. Biden and the name of the Japanese Prime Minister have a 4-cipher match. And today is like 188 days after the Shinzo Abe assassination. And Bitcoin, which is created by a Japanese, obviously I don't think he's a real person, but his name is Satoshi Nakamoto. And if you type in Satoshi Nakamoto and the killer of the guy that they said killed Shinzo Abe, it's a direct match in 4 ciphers. And today is 188 days after Shinzo Abe was killed, and today Bitcoin hit 18,008, like 188.
Interesting.
So I watch the crypto prices all the time, and they're literally scripted like to hit certain prices on certain days. Because right now Bitcoin is at 188, and XRP is at 37.
Sure.
And I believe Shinzo Abe equals 37, I think.
Well, again, like I predicted at the beginning of 2021, or God, was it 2020 already? Whenever Bitcoin hit 33K right at the beginning of the year, I said, watch, it'll be worth 45,000 on the 45th day of the year, 45 weeks after Nakamoto's birthday, because Nakamoto equals 45, like Bitcoin, like ritual. And it climbed up to 45,000 and even beyond that. But it was obvious that it was going to be worth at least 45,000 by Valentine's Day, the 45th day of the year. Again, it was 45 weeks after his 45th birthday on the 45th day of the year, the way it lined up. So,
yeah.
Well,
I just thought it was interesting, this Japanese connection, because tomorrow is like 82 days. It's like all 82s from the Nagasaki bombing, which was on 8/9, August 9th, 1945. And if you go from that day to tomorrow, it's like a perfect 8282, or it's like 282. It's all 82s, and it's just interesting because I'm seeing a lot of 82s. And actually, tomorrow is 82 days until I forget what I was going to say, but anyway, I'm seeing a lot of 82s with tomorrow. And obviously, we know COVID is 82, and there's been a lot of stuff with 82. But
okay, Yeah, when you spell out Friday the 13th, it equals 223, and it is 2023. So I think we'll see a lot of that number tomorrow. People born on June 4th, it'll be 223 days.
I've been decoding Friday the 13th a lot. Friday the 13th, I've been decoding that a lot. It's the 113, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
All right, Zach, thanks.
All right, later. Okie dokie. Well, I guess we do have another call. Let's see. Mississippi. 601.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing this fine day?
Oh, it's the troll.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm calling to ask your support for Donald J. Trump. Are you there? Hello? Are you there? Y'all know he's ahead in the polls, right? I guarantee you this country's going down a big hole if you ain't supporting this man. Don't you want to keep all them immigrants out of here? They're trying to destroy America. Trump wants to make America great again.
He made it real great, didn't he, by ushering in the New World Order COVID pandemic. Adios. God. Like, whoever does that calls in with that, like, that voice. It's some kind of recording that they have, but yeah, again, Trump and Biden are both part of the same Jesuit clan, and that's why they're both Jesuit puppets on strings. Every last ritual they do is so transparent when you discount the knowledge. And it's amazing that like people are like, man, things would be so much better if Trump. It's like, do you remember what happened when Trump was president? Because the New World Order was ushered in, and everybody's business was closed down, and you couldn't even go to church, and then Amazon took over the world. Oh yeah, things would be so great if Trump was still the president. Sure, it would all just be perfect. God. Oh man, people. And yeah, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. Let all the immigrants in. I mean, like I said the other day, you go everywhere, they're closed because they don't have enough employees, workers. It's like, where is everybody? Did everybody die? How come nobody has enough workers? I've been living here for almost 4 months now, and they still can't deliver mail because they're short staffed. They told me in October they'd start delivering here after the new year, but now they're like, oh, sorry, we still can't do it. We're not enough manpower. Maybe the post office will pay me to be a mailman so I can just deliver to my own house. But yeah, I like people from south of the border. Bring them all in. So anyway. A new 322 discovery from Gematria32. All right, guys. Anyway, speaking of the post office, I do have to run down there, give them an earful, because I do need my mail. It's causing all kinds of problems not being able to get mail, but we'll leave it there for now. Again, thank you to everyone who hit the like and the share. If you got here late, please do rewind the video. All the important information was at the beginning, and then we started taking some calls, and that was also interesting. So, yeah, right. The Matrix is with me. He says, bring him in. Amy at Crack Their Code has something interesting. I'm not sure what she's talking about, though. By the way, if you are here and you've not subscribed to Amy's YouTube channel, it's just like you see on the screen, Crack Their Code, all one word, sort by channels, and then her blog is cracktheircode.org. And I'm sure whatever she's talking about is right here. Jeremy White also pointed out, I just did the video on the dead USC Heisman winner. in light of the current Heisman winner who also went to USC. Jeremy White pointed out that the Heisman winner who died, his full name equals 103. And here we are at the end of the 103rd NFL season. The only LA team in the playoffs right now is the Chargers. But maybe this is what she's referring to with 107. And again, 103 is the 27th prime. He was the 27th pick of the NFL draft. Okay. I see. He died 107 days before the upcoming draft. I see. All right. Appreciate it, Amy. Good observation. Yeah, if you guys missed the videos on Lisa Marie Presley and the death of Charles White, the USC Heisman winner, the week of the college championship being in LA. And again, the fact that a gentleman from USC won the Heisman this year. And again, this guy's dead 43 years after winning the Heisman. USC equals 43, like RIP, like football. The guy who just won it from USC, born on the day, leaving 43 days left in the year. So Amy keeps up with a lot of stuff. I see. Ahmad Galloway, dead at 42. What do you know? Amy does a really good job of keeping up with the headlines, you guys. I would almost argue she's doing a better job than I am. Great job, Amy. But yeah, just 42 in Black history. Speaking of Martin and Malcolm X, more 42s in history. Dead 60 days after his birthday, huh? It kind of reminds me that today's 60 days after the Superior General's birthday, and this predominantly black town gets smashed with the tornado. Again, the Superior General is the leader of the Jesuits. First act of weather warfare admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday. So. Yeah, also 107 days. Go figure. Same numbers over and over. And at the bottom of Amy's blog, cracktheircode.org, if you want to share it on social media, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter. Maybe I got to start trying out Telegram because everything goes to the bottom of the algorithm feed on Facebook and Twitter. But it's sad. It's the same stuff over and over and over. Over and over and over. New York.
Hello.
Is another recording?
Hello.
What recording is this?
How are you this fine day? Hello. You still on the phone?
It's like, why can't the tornado hit that guy's house? God. Anyway. All right, True Sticker, I do got to run over to the post office, see what I got to do to get him to bring me some mail. You have no idea the headaches it's creating. So we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your day. Try to avoid the weather warfare. It is a reminder to have those necessaries on hand in case you are the next weather warfare victim and the power's out in the winter. Again, a reminder to have things like blankets, first aid. If you have a propane stove, some propane tanks, some canned food, some water, all the things you might need if the power were out for a few days. Until next time, Truth Seeker.